Hey everyone, welcome to a new experimental format of the Love Drive podcast. This is more like a new segment, and it's called Helpline, where you submit your questions to me via voicemail, and I choose one lucky voicemail every week and try to help as much as I can. So if you're interested, go to the link in my bio on Instagram, and there's an Ask Me a Question button, or go to the description of this podcast, and there should be a link there. You'll have to sign a release, an artist release, and then you'll get access to the phone number that you could leave a voicemail on. It's not my phone number. It's a Google Voice number. So don't text me inappropriate things. Okay, let's listen to this week's question from Emily.
Hi, Sean. I love your work. I'm glad you're doing this. I'm Emily, and I'm calling from Montana. I have about 3.5 years now post a breakup that pretty much rocked my world, and I came out on the other side with a lot of huge wins in my own life and career, and I've totally flipped my life upside down in the best way possible. So I'm not here to just say it's all bad and everything's awful, but I still can't get past the story of, I left a really good guy and he moved on right away, got married right away. It's hard for me to move past the story. And I think even lately, even 3.5 years later, I've been wondering, it feels like I let a really good love go and that could have been a once in a lifetime thing and that it might not come back again. But it feels so true. And I'm just wondering, how do you forgive yourself or how do you move past that and find hope, especially in a time where you're trying to date in a pandemic, say, or whatever, and there's just nothing happening for you out there. And the other person did it so quickly. It's so hard to not think that somehow you kind of got this short end of the stick. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how to kind of break those patterns or think about it differently so that you can keep healing. Thanks so much.
Emily, thank you for your question. This sounds really tough, and I can relate to the story that you're telling yourself, that you left a really good guy and that relationship was a once in a lifetime relationship. And I do want to break this story into two chapters, one that is true and one that is not true. So the first part of the chapter is, or the first part of the book is that you left a really good guy. And that's probably true. That is a story that is true. I'm guessing the dude was good. You liked him. You loved him. You still miss him. It's been years and you're still thinking about him. So we can assume that that is a true story. Now, the second part of your story that I don't think is true is that was a once in a lifetime kind of love. Okay, actually, now that I think about it, it was once in a lifetime kind of love. The love that you had with him will never be recreated with anybody else. You can actually just take that to the bank. You can live and sleep soundly knowing that you, A, left a really good guy, and B, that kind of love, the love that you had with him, was once in a lifetime. But the third part of this story is that there are lots of other kinds of loves, and there are fantastic people out there that you can have a loving, fulfilling, successful, whatever that means to you, relationship with. But you do need to accept that that relationship is over and that he was a great guy and that what you and him had, you will never have again. That's absolutely true. What's not true is that you won't ever find love again. I mean, that could be true, but I highly doubt it. I guess the problem is that it's already been 3.5 years, right? So it feels like you're probably never going to find love again, because that's a long time. Let's be honest. 3.5 years is a long time. It really is. One thing I do want to note, though, is that relationship ended and great things happened to you, right? So things happen to us and they affect our life They shape our life, right? It's like the butterfly effect. If you hadn't left this person, maybe those big wins that you've had in life wouldn't have happened for whatever reason, right? And also, please consider this. The relationship that you thought was so fantastic might have also ended at any point between when you broke up and now, right? We don't really have guarantees in life except for death and taxes. And hopefully that love will come again over and over as long as you let it and you are open to it. So you don't really know how the relationship would have progressed had you not broken up. You have no idea. There's no guarantees that it would have progressed in a way that made sense or that you would have liked, right? So that's one other thing to consider. Also, he moved on. That sucks. That is hard. That's like, what the fuck? How could he have moved on so quickly, gotten married, and here you are still waiting around for something to happen? And that's what happened. That is the reality of the situation. You broke up and he moved on. That's what people do. Sometimes quicker than others, of course, in this case. And one thing that you said that kind of struck me as very important is that you got the short end of the stick. So you are comparing the outcome or the current reality of your life to his, right? To his seemingly beautiful and perfect matrimony with another person. And they talk about this in 12-Step Recovery. Don't compare your insides, which is the story that you're telling yourself about your life, to other people's outsides, which is the story you're telling yourself about other people's lives. It might look like you got the short end of the stick, but first of all, that comparison is never helpful. You know, we never compare ourselves to people that are doing worse than we are, right? I'll compare myself to, like, I think it used to be Elon Musk, Matthew McConaughey, Ryan Reynolds. You know, I'm not comparing myself to people that have less or are less fortunate or have a harder life than me, right? I mean, if I did, then maybe I would be able to have more gratitude for the position and the privilege that I have in my life today, right? So when you compare yourself to, let's say, your ex or just somebody that has something that you want or that is seemingly doing better than you, you will always lose. Always. It is a zero-sum game. There is no way to win when you compare yourself to somebody else, especially to your ex. Here's what I need to say about forgiveness. Specifically forgiving oneself, for having made a quote unquote mistake, right? Your outlook here is that you made a mistake. You shouldn't have broken up with this person. And because you did, well, you're regretting your decision. I think the move here is to recognize that you did the best you could with the information that you had available at the time. You thought the right thing to do was to break up. And now you kind of wish you hadn't. I get that. But you did. So there's some forgiveness there, right? You didn't know as much as you know now. But also there's a lot of acceptance that needs to come in. You know, we're always faced with choices. So many choices on a daily basis, hundreds of thousands of choices and decision points that we will make, from, you know, what jam you're going to buy at the store, to whether you're going to reply to somebody's email, to whether you're going to, you know, try to put out another podcast episode today, whatever. And we can't live in constant analysis of all of the choices that we have to make and the impact on those choices. Sometimes you just got to make a decision and live with the consequences. And I kind of have a feeling here that you're not really accepting the consequences of this choice that you made. The reality is that you made a choice and then your life panned out in a way that you probably weren't expecting or particularly like. But it's what happened. And I think it's hard for anyone dating right now, particularly if you have not had any sort of success or haven't connected with anybody that you like in a while. But what other option do you have but to stay hopeful? Seriously. The only other option I see is to give up. Give up on love. Give up on having a happy relationship with somebody else. If those are my two options, I will always choose hope. And more than hope, knowing, deeply knowing that there are lots of lovely people out there that you can build a happy, fulfilling relationship with. Relationships are built slowly over time. Intimacy deepens slowly over time. You're not going to find the kind of love that you had with your ex on the first date. That kind of love is built slowly over time. I don't think you got the short end of the stick. I think that the last 3.5 years have been very hard for you. And instead of picking up the book, I let a really good love go, and that was a once-in-a-lifetime love. I would like you to put that book away and pick up a different book, which is, gee, I'm happy my ex found love, and I'm really looking forward to meeting my future person. I hope that helps. Have a beautiful week.